a lovely man who was a delight to be around, who showed nothing but...
See, I've heard this a few times. He had a good side, he helped people, but then he's got the very brutal, the very devious, the very intelligent snowman side to him.
The greatest respect for my husband. And my husband would not have become what he did without Colonel Tom Parker. Jerry Schilling said, I wish he was still alive today so I could talk to him on the phone once a week.
Wow.
He took care of Priscilla Presley long after the divorce. He called her every Sunday and said, how are you doing? How's your daughter? Is there anything I can do for you? If there's anything that I need. Now,
didn't know that. So he would call Priscilla after the divorce most days, offering his help for Lisa. Interesting. Now, I've heard it's because of Colonel Tom Parker that the wedding happened, the marriage happened with Elvis and Priscilla, that he really pushed for it to happen, as well as Priscilla's parents.
Now, she also said, look, he was a carny and we had to sue him for the money that he owed us, but that's because he was not my husband's manager. He was my husband's promoter. And both of them, both Jerry and Priscilla, described Elvis in a term that I think you would probably use for a great artist like Picasso.
So before he says this, when Priscilla calls Elvis her husband, I just find that so uncomfortable, because they married in 1967. 9 months later, there's a baby. 3 months after that, Priscilla is unfaithful. Whilst Lisa Marie is a baby, Priscilla is unfaithful. Not even a year after the marriage, yeah? And then a year and 18 months after that, Priscilla runs off with Mike Stone, the karate champion, who she'd been secretly seeing for a year. So when Priscilla calls him a husband, calls Elvis her husband, their marriage, guys, come on, Priscilla and Elvis's marriage was a joke. It only really lasted 2 years, because there was a lot of unfaithfulness. I know Elvis was also unfaithful, but I don't blame him. He's caught his wife, who has just had a baby, being unfaithful with the dance instructor, Steve Peck. So, to me, it feels weird when Priscilla calls Elvis her husband. It feels weird to me.
Or maybe Eugene O'Neill or somebody. They said, you have to understand, the only thing that mattered to my husband was music. Performing music. At 3 o'clock in the morning, if he wasn't in bed, he would be downstairs playing gospel on the piano in the living room. That's what he wanted to do. He could not say yes or no. He said, yes, sir, of course.
Yeah.
He took guidance. And if you take this reality, there's this old story. It's not in the movie, unfortunately. I wish it was, in which the colonel said to Elvis, son, right now you have $1 million worth of talent. When I'm done with you, you'll have $1 million. And that's...
Was that actually said? Did that actually happen?
True.
Yeah.
From the signing with Colonel Tom Parker, in which he was essentially making a living by performing on around in small clubs and selling records out of the trunk of Sam Phillips's car.
Yeah.
He went from that to moving into the Graceland mansion, which he bought cash, within 18 months. So that's what Colonel...
Is that true? Because I heard there was a bit of a mortgage at first. Is it true or not, guys?
Tom Parker did for Elvis.
So here, I don't agree with this. I'm going to rewind this a bit. See, I don't agree with this. Tom Hanks is basically saying all of the success that Elvis had was because of Tom Hanks. So Tom Hanks, sorry, not Tom Hanks, because of Colonel Tom Parker. So Elvis is discovered by Colonel Tom Parker. Then all the success that happens is because of Colonel Tom Parker. Eventually, he says, buying grandstands for cash. Yeah? Now, it isn't because of Colonel Tom Parker. It's because of Elvis. Elvis is the reason for the success. His songs, his hit songs. Yeah? Do we agree with that? If obviously his first movie as well. Love Me Tender, and then every movie Elvis did in the early years made an absolute fortune. Elvis is the reason for his success, not Colonel Tom Parker. I understand the management and the opportunities open doors because of Colonel Tom Parker. I get it. Any manager would have done it, but you needed Elvis to do it. Elvis is the reason for his success, not Colonel Tom Parker. That's just my view.
He took guidance, and if you take this reality, there's this old story. It's not in the movie, unfortunately. I wish it was, in which the colonel said to Elvis, "Son, right now you have $1 million worth of talent. When I'm done with you, you'll have $1 million," and that's true.
Yeah.
From the signing with Colonel Tom Parker, in which he was essentially making a living by performing on around in small clubs and selling records out of the trunk of Sam Phillips's car.
Yeah.
He went from that to moving into the Graceland mansion, which he bought cash, within 18 months. So that's.
I just want to, do you know what? The fact that he says that, I'd like to know, is that true? Did he buy it cash? Did Elvis buy Graceland's cash? Soon find out. Because, I like Tom Hanks, but he's speaking like he's an expert on Elvis and Colonel Tom Parker. He isn't. He's an actor that played Colonel Tom Parker. Stefano says he did a terrible job of it, was a bit weird. I think people are a bit hit and miss on whether they liked the way he played Colonel Tom Parker. I actually thought it was okay, but I know that I've heard many people say it was a bit weird. So let's see if he's right with his facts. Now, I heard that there was a mortgage with Graceland, but let me just read it. Because I could definitely be wrong, guys. Let me read it on here. Yes, Elvis did pay Graceland with a combination of cash and mortgage. In 1957, he purchased the property for $102,500. He paid $10,000 in cash. He received $55,000 for his previous property, Audubon Drive, and financed the remaining $36,500 with a 25-year mortgage. Louis wins. Tom Hanks, I beat you. Oh, I love it when I win. I'm the gambler, mate. Anyway, just messing about, guys. So yes, there was a mortgage. Tom Hanks, you are wrong. There was a £36,500 mortgage, guys. So no, Colonel Tom Parker didn't come along and give bucket loads of money to Elvis. Elvis made his own bucket loads of money with his voice and his movies. Yeah. And no, he didn't buy Graceland's cash. So Tom Hanks, get your facts right, mate, because that is wrong.
That's what Colonel Tom Parker did for Elvis.
No, he didn't.
The genius of Colonel Tom Parker cannot be overstated, but it is.
Oh my God. Don't call him a genius. Please don't call him a genius. I agree, he was a businessman. He was a carny. He was the snowman. The word snow, we've just found out, is a slang for trick or con. The showman, the snowman. Yeah, we've learnt this on this show. Please don't call him a genius. Yeah, he was a bit of a businessman. Even me, I'm a businessman. Yeah, I've made some money in my life as a businessman. I got into business when I was 19 years old. I'm 58 on July the 10th. Hint, hint. July the 10th is my birthday. But anyway, my point is this. I ain't no genius. I am no genius. I had some success in business. I'm not a genius. I use my common sense. Colonel Tom Parker was not a genius. I agree that he was good at things like merchandising, and he knew how to get top dollar, negotiate a higher price. The reason he could negotiate good deals is because Elvis was the golden goose. Elvis was the golden goose. You could demand any amount of money for Elvis. You could negotiate a high amount of money on the record deals, on the movie deals, and merchandising deals, because Elvis was a sure thing. Elvis was a sure thing. If you've got a sure thing, you can hold out for more money. It doesn't make him a genius. Elvis was, Colonel Tom Parker was not a genius.
It's all washed away, I think, from the great legacy of the late 60s and 70s in which the Colonel was wrong. I'm not going to say, he was not, he never advised Elvis.
Yeah.
He never said, I think you should do music like this. I think you should perform like this. What he was is very possessive. He wasn't about to, let go of the great elephant attraction that he had. That's another long story I can tell about.
Yeah.
If you want to be the richest guy in the carnival, own an elephant, because everybody pays 25 cents to see the elephant. And they'll also pay another 10 cents for 2 cents worth of peanuts in order to feed the elephant. And that's what it was.
Yeah, so I think that is what I've just said, yeah? He had a sure thing in Elvis. So you don't get a top rating from me for this interview, Tom Hanks. I like you, but you get a flunk for me, mate. Right, let's just have a look. One more bit. Priscilla says that she liked Colonel Tom Parker. Did Priscilla like Colonel Tom Parker?
Because Colonel Parker seemed to know everything. Colonel, like he said in there, what is Colonel Parker to you, blah, blah, blah. Everything. So he depended on Colonel Parker because, like you said again, Sam Phillips couldn't do it for him.
Yeah.
Because Colonel Parker seemed to know everything. Colonel, like he said in there, what is Colonel Parker to you, blah, blah, blah. Everything. So he depended on Colonel Parker because, like you said again, Sam Phillips couldn't do it for him.
Yeah.
Because Colonel Parker...
That's rubbish. Sam Phillips didn't have a chance to do it. Sam Phillips was offered a very large amount of money. 35,000 was an absolute fortune. And he just made a business decision, which secretly he probably regret. I know Sam Phillips has always said he didn't regret it, but secretly, come on, he regretted it. Yeah. So no, Elvis didn't need Colonel Tom Parker. Now remember, Priscilla was very close to Colonel Tom Parker. Colonel Tom Parker is probably the reason they got married, yeah? I actually think Colonel Tom Parker really liked Priscilla. Behind the scenes, may have been up to no good, isn't it? We don't really know the kind of friendship that was going on between Priscilla and Colonel Tom Parker. They probably made a lot of money together, allegedly, for entertainment purposes. Everything I say is alleged. Entertainment purpose, just a discussion, not a fact, just opinions that we're sharing as Team Elvis. So there we go. I love Tom Hanks, but he totally doesn't know what he's talking about. You can tell he's been talking to the wrong people. I agree. But I'll be honest with you guys. Remember, I do like the Baz Luhrmann film, but I also dislike it. I think I saw there was a comment, I think it was from Mike. Hi, Mike, if you're watching. There's a good part. There's certain parts of the Baz Luhrmann film that are okay. Yeah. But there's a lot that isn't. I fully agree that the Baz Luhrmann film, the Elvis biopic, brought in a lot of new fans and was amazing in that way. Yeah. We know that Lisa loved it. Priscilla seems to have liked it. But it also, there was some quite unfair portrayals of people in that movie, especially Vernon, Gladys, even Elvis. The second half of the film after the Vegas comeback is very sad to watch. It's difficult to watch. Again, he's portrayed as an addict, yeah, which is so unfair. Because we want the world to know just how sick Elvis was and how much he needed his prescription medication. Now, I accept he abused them. I accept things went pear-shaped. But he was a sick, desperate man who couldn't sleep, who was in pain, who had very serious colon problems. Yeah. So the film doesn't show that. I also don't like the fact that the film doesn't show any of the ex-girlfriends as well. Yeah. So, which I think is just wrong. There's too much about the film trying to keep Priscilla happy. Keep Priscilla happy. Get Priscilla's approval. Get Priscilla to support the film. There's too much of that. I do like Austin Butler, but he ain't no Elvis. Yeah, that's just my views as a fan, guys. So let's see if there's another thing with Priscilla talking about Colonel Tom Parker. 1 second, guys. What is this? Let me just see. This is one of my old videos, guys.
Well, you know, it was about Colonel and Elvis and Elvis's dream, you know, to take his career further. He wanted to do movies and serious movies. And Colonel Parker just, you know, he should have really probably stayed a publicist, because he just didn't have, he didn't take Elvis where he wanted to be. And that was hard, because I lived it. I lived the arguments that they had. I lived, you know, Elvis trying to explain that he didn't want to do the movies with all the girls and the beaches and everything, that he really wanted to do serious things. So living that with him and watching the movie, it brought back a lot of memories.
He almost saw Elvis just as a commodity, get him on stage, do whatever it takes. I was just wondering, all these years later, have you made peace with what happened with Colonel Parker? Did you ever make peace with him?
Yes, I did.
Yes, I did. Come on, guys. She married Elvis because of Colonel Tom Parker. What is this? Did Priscilla Presley like Colonel Tom Parker? Let's listen to this, guys. Hi, guys. Louis at Defending Elvis Presley. A great question. Priscilla Presley, did you like Colonel Tom Parker? Let's hear what she has to say.
The Colonel. Will we like the Colonel at the end of all of this, do you think? Or do you like the Colonel or not? You see, because there's that big divide about the Colonel. Was he manipulative? Did he hold Elvis back? What was your view of the Colonel?
I personally have had nothing but good experiences with the Colonel. I knew, you know, listen, he was a human being. He was in fear that someone would grab Elvis and Elvis would go, you know, to them, which is Hollywood, and that does happen. I am mixed, honestly, about how he handled Elvis. You know, he was more of a promoter, not really a manager.
Yes,
a manager really has to do what their artists want. And there was, you know, Colonel had other ideas because he was about making the money for the artist.
Well, that's it. Let's hear your opinion, guys, of what you think of her reply. Please comment. Hi, guys. Louis at Defending Elvis Presley. Just going to listen to it again one more time, guys. A great question. Priscilla Presley, did you like Colonel Tom Parker? Let's hear what she has to say.
The Colonel. Will we like the Colonel at the end of all of this, do you think? Or do you like the Colonel or not? You see, because there's that big divide about the Colonel. Was he manipulative? Did he hold Elvis back? What was your view of the Colonel?
I personally have had nothing but good experiences with the Colonel. I knew, you know, listen, he was a human being. He was in fear that someone would grab Elvis and Elvis would go, you know, to them, which is Hollywood, and that does happen. I am mixed, honestly, about how he handled Elvis. You know, he was more of a promoter, not really a manager. A manager really has to do what their artists want. And there was, you know, Colonel had other ideas because he was about making the money for the artist.
Well, that's it. Let's... Okay. I think that's different than what she's said in the past, but okay. Right, I think... Priscilla Presley, I liked Colonel Tom Parker. Is this a different one? Let me just see if this is the same one. Hang on a minute, guys. Right, let me just... This is one of my old videos. I made it a while ago. Let me just hear.
As well. I was, you know, had dinner with them, and actually Elvis did too.
And it's a funny one for me, because I know that... I'm not going to play that because I can't play the music. Let me just have a look, guys. We can't have any music because it all gets blocked. I think we've already played that. Let me just see if this is any good. I might have already played this. Hi guys, very interesting video here. Let me just have a look a minute. I don't want to play it if we've already done it. Nah, that's not it. Okay, guys, I think that's going to be the end of the video. So, guys, just a good, rounded, quite a long live stream. Trying to understand Colonel Tom Parker and his relationship with Elvis and the people that knew him. I think we've been pretty thorough, haven't we, guys? So, do you know what I mean, guys? It's like, I'm not a big fan of Colonel Tom Parker. I'm glad that he never trashed Elvis. I'm glad that he never trashed Elvis. But, come on, guys. The fans are quite upset with Colonel Tom Parker. There's many things the fans are unhappy with Colonel Tom Parker. I will never accept that Colonel Tom Parker is the reason that Elvis became so successful, became so famous. I will never accept that if Elvis hadn't have met Colonel Tom Parker, that he wouldn't have become famous. That's just bullshit. That's just bullshit. Now, Colonel Tom Parker did make a lot of mistakes, didn't he? Colonel Tom Parker made a lot of mistakes. Anyway, guys, time for bed. Thanks everyone for joining.